You ever find it hard to share yourself openly, communicating with people around you, what you're experiencing and going through? Do you find it hard to be vulnerable, letting your friends, family members, coworkers understand what you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis? See, a lot of us, especially as men, we find it hard to open up our hearts and to let ourselves be heard. And yesterday, I finished watching a show that literally just had me seeing so clearly the impact of the inability to be able to open up at scale. And as we see this in the world of today, if we don't do something different, it's gonna continue to show itself. Now, I'm not one to watch too many shows. I really want to be mindful of what I'm putting my time and effort, energy into. And this one was shared to us by close friends, and Lauren put it on. At first, didn't really find it in any sort of way interesting, but after watching the first episode, I was intrigued by it. I was intrigued by the way in which it was filmed, and the cinematography of it was very different than all other shows, and the acting was good. On top of that, the theme was really deep to me, because one of the things that really calls to me at this point in time in my life, and in the world in which we're living in, is the youth. Teenagers, people, the youth that is moving through such a different timeline than what I grew up in. To be in school in the world of today is 100% different than what I ever knew it to be. And I always question and wonder and really ponder on the idea of what is it like to be a child in 7th, 8th, 9th grade today. Times where we are so easily malleable, and where the people and the circumstances around us have such a big impact in our lives. So the show that I was watching and we finished watching yesterday is called Adolescence, the British show on Netflix. A phenomenal show. Now, what really hit me is at the end of the show how the father is finally able to break open. He finally lets himself be heard, even just to himself. There's nobody around him, but he's really allowing himself to feel everything. And that showed me, and it made it really clear how easy it is for us as humans to hold things back, especially, again, us as men. And this is, if you're not a man, this also relates to you, but especially for us as men. There has been this idea that in order for us to be strong, we don't show emotion. There's this almost like programming that's taking place, that if we are to be the strong leaders in the family, we can't show what we're feeling. We hold it all in. Now, I'm sure by now you've seen that. Somebody that holds in all of this pent-up emotion over time will see a big impact in their lives, whether it be with their personal selves and the people around them, or just in general in the totality of life. Now, I'm not going to give you what the show's all about, because if you feel pulled to, I'm just not going to talk too much about the show itself. I want to talk about the impact that I saw from this man who saw in himself so much of his patterns repeating. He saw, and you really only get a small glimpse of this, and I wish that they went deeper into it, but again, this is why I think it's such a good show, because it allows us to be the ones to go deeper into it and to actually explore on it on our own. And in a world where everything is so clearly detailed and everything is so dramatized, I find it really valuable when we are given that sovereignty to really kind of think for ourselves and explore deeper what a topic, what a theme is. And you see how the father is speaking about how when he was younger, his father used to beat him up. That was the way in which his father disciplined him. Whenever he made a mistake, his father would hurt him, would discipline him in the way in which we would know today as bodily harm, would hit him. And him growing up, he said he'll never do that to his son. However, what he also didn't understand was that he never dealt with any of that emotion. He held it in. And again, can you see the theme, and can you see the pattern in the world of today, where we operate from a world where we think we need to hold everything in, and especially us, and especially as men, there is literally the inability to. There is a lack of emotional intelligence to be able to tap into what we're going through, let alone let the people in our lives actually feel and hear us and be with us. And as I was watching this show and seeing this man really play out the reality that so many men in the world of today live, which is not dealing with emotions effectively, allowing the emotions to suppress and build up over time until eventually, literally, the bamboo breaks. And I'm touched by this. I'm touched by this because I grew up with a father who was very passive. He also didn't know how to communicate himself openly. He did everything he absolutely could with what he knew, but he also didn't have an easy lifestyle. He grew up as one out of 4 siblings, and he was the first one that was getting up in the morning at 3 o'clock in the morning to milk the cows, to deliver the milk to the people in town, to come home, shower, go to school, come back, feed the pigs, take care of the farm. That was my father's life ever since he was, I believe, like 12 years old. And he did it. He did it his whole life. And I think because of this, I saw the pattern of the lack of connection, deep connection between my father and his parents. And as I was just watching this show unfold, and as the show came to an end, and it's a really sad show. The way it ends, it's real, it's sad, and it just shows how these patterns they repeat over time. And I was thinking for myself, okay, why is this impacting me? I was literally in tears. I'm unapologetically telling you that whenever I see something that emotionally connects with me, I let it out, because I'm not gonna hold on to this. It doesn't really do anything for me to hold on to it. I want to let it be seen. I want to let it be known. I want to let myself be completely seen for what I can do, and really not what I can do, but what I'm experiencing. So I'm sitting with my wife, she's crying, I'm crying, and I'm wondering, why am I crying so much? And again, the reflection started to come up, right after the other. My father passed away about 4 years ago. I didn't take the time to really get to know him. I was really stubborn. I was a little rebellious. I always knew best. And because of this, I didn't necessarily create the relationship that I wanted with my father. And that was really the pain that I was feeling last night. As I'm watching this father break over what's going on with his son, he's literally tucking in his son's teddy bear into bed, apologizing to his son, and just in tears. The first time you actually see this man let things out. Now, this is a 4-episode show, about an hour long each. Not once until the last 10 to 15 minutes of the show do you see the man show true emotion. Everything before then was the bottling up. And you could even see, you start to get present to the body language, the way in which he would shift his mouth and the way in which he would rub his face. All of these little things that start to show us, he's bottling up. He's unavailable to actually let himself be seen. So he's just shoving it down even further. Finally, here it is, end of the show, the culmination of the drama, and he's in tears and I'm in tears. And I see this man, I think of my father, never be able to spend time with him again on this physical and earthly reality. And I'm just broken myself, because I'm recognizing the fact that here I am, I teach men and women about how to be open and courageous and vulnerable, and here I am recognizing that for such a long period of my life, I was actually unable to do so as well. So this is obviously a very different video than what you normally have seen. Always teaching and always sharing with others insights and takeaways that they can take into their business and their lives for breakthroughs. But I'm really feeling pulled to bring back some of the real and authentic conversation in regards to what I go through as a 33-year-old man living in South Florida, Colombian immigrant who came into the States when I was 9. There's a lot that my life has taught me. And as I see the world around me, this isn't in any sort of way to tell you or anyone watching that I'm better or that you can learn something from me, so you should learn something from me. No, this is really for me to allow myself to be seen, allow myself to be open and vulnerable, something that at one point, I mean, from like 20 to like 25, if you go back on my Facebook, posting videos consistently, really sharing it openly. Now at the time, new business owner with a new possibility and a new dream that was kindled that I'd never seen the possibility of. Fast forward, people's opinions start to get in the way, people's ideas start to hold me back, people's ways of thinking and being has me question if I should even be doing this, posting up video sharing. And now about 7 years later, about 8 years later, recognizing how much of a disservice that is. And I thank you for watching. If you're still here, I encourage you, if you're a man, I encourage you to explore what it means to step into a new level of vulnerability, a new level of openness. I encourage you to explore what it looks like to slow down, not to do so much. As men, we always want to solve problems. And it's actually funny, in the show, this theme is brought up, again, real slightly, what is the problem to solve for the day? As if we have to go out in the day-to-day trying to solve a problem. Now, of course, we're alive in a world where there's going to be challenges and problems to overcome, 100%. But if we as men are always going out there trying to always solve a problem, we're going to actually lose the opportunity to connect with the people around us. Especially if you have children, you have families, a spouse. Not all women want problems solved. typically, actually, and this is the counterintuitive part, most women just want to be heard. They want us to know that we hear what they're saying. They want us to know that we're there for them. They want us to know that we're listening and our hearts are open and our minds are open. They don't want us to always go to solving the problem. Again, the funny thing is that we as men think that's what they want. But no, that's the masculine coming into the picture trying to solve. When in all reality, more times than not, what a spouse, a friend wants is just a place to be heard. No judgment, no condemnation, definitely no condemnation. No advice, no, just hear me out. Listen to what I'm going through. And if you have something you want to say, okay, sure, but I'm not here for you to solve my problem. And if you're a woman and you're experiencing this maybe with your man, recognize, and I invite you to explore what it would look like for you to share that with him. Because unfortunately, again, you as a woman are much more emotionally intelligent than we are as men. From a biological point of view, you literally have more dendrites in the brain that connects the left and the right hemisphere of the brain, allowing for a better integration and a synthesizing of information. Like, I'm just giving you the biological side to understand that. Maybe your man, there's nothing wrong with him. It's just we are literally made different. And if you can help him understand that and maybe start to ask him some more questions, or maybe explore with him what it would look like to open up, you can start to see a shift in your relationship. And for you, my brothers listening still to this, recognize there's nothing wrong with being open. It does not make you weak to let your emotions be heard. In no way is it wrong for you to let the people in your life know what you are moving through. It is actually extremely healthy. And you'll see that there is shame and there's guilt and there's condemnation you'll be holding on to that's actually not yours to carry. Maybe there's a sense of blame that you've picked up over life that you think it's your responsibility to fix. All of this, while there's nobility to it and it's honorable, not all of it is for you to do. In fact, in my faith, all I gotta do when I find myself in this place of condemnation, shame, or guilt, I look to the one that created me and I say, I give this to you. And that's been my biggest challenge, because in my life, I've been brought up to think that I'm the one to have to do it all. So for me to just say, Lord, I give it to you. I surrender this pain. I surrender this grief. I surrender this anger. I surrender this shame. I surrender this guilt. Now it's been so challenging. But I'll tell you this, the deeper side of that is I start to recognize how when I really am able to give this away and I can actually surrender, there's a sense of adoption that takes place. There is an embrace and a love that I've never been able to feel before. Regardless of how much money I made, what practices I did, how many books I read, what really has made the biggest and most drastic impact in my life and business and relationships is the recognition that I am a son to God, that there is an all-knowing creator that has made everything, and he knows, just like yours, every single strand of hair on your head. He knows exactly where you are going. He literally planned for everything to be going as it is, like this right here, right now. Before I was ever conceived, he knew I was going to be doing this. That's my faith. Now, what that does for me is it allows me to be in a place of surrender and trust. Now, that doesn't take away free will, because I know I've been there before questioning that. If there's a Father and a God that does know everything from eternity to perpetuity, then where's free will come into the picture? Free will comes into the picture when we can actually understand that we have the ability to choose on a day-to-day basis whether we're going to hold on to shame, condemnation, or guilt, which is not his making, or whether we can trust in his plan. And that is a very easy line to cross, and it's a very subtle distinction for us to explore moving forward, because we are at all times, my personal belief, and I invite you to explore this, at all points in time we're either operating from a kingdom which brings light or a kingdom which brings darkness. A kingdom that is empowering versus a kingdom that is death-giving or death-creating. And when I can actually recognize that I am in a space where I am speaking death onto others and myself, I am not necessarily bringing life, I am at that point operating not in the kingdom with which I was born. Because God is a God of life. He's a God of creation. He's a God of love. And in that, there's rebuking, there's sanctifying, there's rectification that takes place. There's things that happen on a moment-to-moment basis, and that's where we come into the picture. The free will. When I know that if I do this, I'm going to, in some sort of way, dishonor my creator and my creation and the creation in which I live, that is not me operating in his kingdom. When I am quick to get angry and upset, when I'm quick to blame and to judge, that is death-giving. Maybe you've done any of the readings of Carlos, what's his name? The four agreements. I don't remember exactly, but one of them is being impeccable with our word. I connect that with this because when we can understand that every single word that we literally say, every thought that we pay attention to, every thought, every emotion that we are literally feeding is either given life or taking it away. So my brothers and sisters, as you move forward, for my brothers, be open, be vulnerable, explore what that looks like. See the freedom that is made available once you actually let others in. Experience the freedom that is made possible when you say to yourself and to others what you're actually experiencing. To my sisters, if you have a brother, if you have, well, maybe a brother, if you have a brother, a father, a son, a man right now in your life that you feel like is unable to communicate, it's not your responsibility by any means, but you do have a space where you can ask some questions and really help them understand. At the end of the day, we're all responsible. We're all responsible. We're here on a day-to-day basis to be able to live life in a certain way. I believe there's a destiny that has been put into every single one of our DNA. Your identity, who you are as a man and a woman, has been intentionally made so you can walk into the world and create with that identity, to live into your destiny. And as you live into your destiny, you're expanding the kingdom. You're helping other people do the same exact thing. As the poem goes, the way in which you allow others to give the freedom to be themselves is by you being yourself. That's not the poem, but that's the way in which I pretty much interpret it. So be yourself, be fully expressed, be fully open. Thank you for listening and stay plugged in. Again, very different conversation than usual, but this is just from my heart because yesterday I was touched by seeing the in representation in this show, my life, and also at a bigger scale, what is happening throughout the world. If you got anything out of this video, go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you think. Share with others if you feel pulled to. I'll see you soon.